Donald Trump was recently ordered to pay E. Jean Carroll $83 million because he defamed her when he said that she is a whack job who made up the story and he never raped her. Now, here's the crazy story. Let's set aside all of the partisanship. Let's set aside the arguments about whether or not there was any evidence or whether or not Trump actually knew this woman, whatever. We'll get to those. A trial determined Trump was liable for sexual abuse, not assault, that they had not satisfied the claim that Trump had raped this woman, and that the only thing they could determine was that he used his hands. I'll put it that way. I'll try to keep it, kind of light to start things off. Thus, there is no statement in the courts, at least reportedly, that Donald Trump ever raped this woman. Yet she has repeatedly made the claim. And when Donald Trump said factually, based on the court, he did not, she sued him. The judge awarded her, ruled a summary judgment, and then said the facts of the case are indisputable, despite the fact they're absolutely in dispute. When Donald Trump tried to file a countersuit because he says she claimed that he raped her, despite the fact the court said no, the judge dismissed it. Well, here's the story from Fox News. E. Jean Carroll gleefully invites Maddow on shopping spree with Trump's $83 million. Penthouse, it's yours. This woman is insane. She is a crackpot. And I think the fact that we are currently in this, I don't know what you want to call it. Donald Trump reportedly said at trial, this is not America. It's not America. I'll tell you my opinion on this. E. Jean Carroll fabricated the story. Or, I don't know. What we know is that there is a very similar plot coming from Law & Order SVU in 2012. There's no evidence of this event ever having occurred. There's no evidence that Trump knows this woman. Ah, yes, but you may be saying, but Tim, what about the photograph from 1987? You mean Donald Trump, the most famous guy in the city, in New York, was at a party somewhere and someone said, here's a person, and that proves they knew each other? If that were the case, I know everybody. I can't tell you how many times I've been out and someone's been like, can I get a picture with you? Sure. I can't tell you how many times I've been out and I've been with someone I knew and they were like, oh, here's a friend of mine. Let's get a picture. And I'm like, whatever. I don't know. You don't take pictures when you're at parties or on boats or, doing vacation things. Like, I don't know everybody. So that's the claim. Donald Trump knew her. And now she's getting roasted because when asked by Maddow what she was going to do to help women's rights with this money, she said she's going to buy everything she ever wanted. And the lawyers for her go, she's kidding. It's getting crazier. Donald Trump is now going to be they're going to be appealing because it turns out the lawyer in this case actually worked. Let me actually, I didn't have this one pulled up, but let me pull this up. It's a conflict of interest. Trump lawyer from Reuters. Let's see if we actually can get the Reuters on this one. Here we go. Check this out. This is Trump lawyer says judge's possible conflict may taint $83 million Carroll verdict. Okay. I'm going to tell you my opinion. She made it up to sell a book. That's it. She knows she can say it. She knows she can get away with it. Let me show you here from the Wikipedia page on the sexual abuse and defamation by Donald Trump. We'll jump down to, let's see, blah, 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 blah. Her expenses were paid by Reid Hoffman, a Democrat donor. May 9th, 2023, a jury of 6 men found Trump liable for sexual abuse, battery, and defamation. On the issue of rape, they found it was not proven Trump had raped her. Later on, when asked, Carroll said, yes, he did rape her in response to a question. Trump sued, and Kaplan dismissed the lawsuit, ruling Carroll's rape claim against Trump was substantially true, despite the fact a jury said it wasn't. Now, how about that? I don't understand why Donald Trump doesn't file suit and say, like, West Virginia. Clearly, you're not going to win a game going to a communist state with a bunch of communists. But anyway, I digress. Here's the story that I think matters substantially in this. In a letter filed in federal court in Manhattan, the lawyer Alina Habba cited a January 27th New York Post article discussing U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan's alleged prior working relationship with Carroll's lawyer, Roberta Kaplan, who is not related. Both worked about 2 years at the same time at the law firm Paul Weiss Rifkin, Wharton and Garrison in the early 90s. before Judge Kaplan was appointed to the federal bench in 94. The article quoted an unnamed former Paul Weiss partner who said Roberta Kaplan sought to distinguish herself like all associates, and Judge Kaplan had been like her mentor. They are not related, by the way, despite having the same last name. Haba said this particularly concerning matter could justify a new trial on liability and damages, which the judge's overly hostile treatment of Trump's side and preferential treatment of Carroll's side could also support. Trump plans to appeal last Friday's verdict, which stemmed from his June 2019 denials that he raped Carroll in Bergdorf Goodman department store dressing room in the mid-1990s. Judge Kaplan's chambers did not immediately respond to a request for comment after business hours. Spokespeople for Carroll and Roberta Kaplan did not immediately respond to similar requests, but one spokesperson told the Post that no conflict existed. Paul Weiss also did not immediately respond to a request for comment, blah, blah, blah. We get it. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I think anyone with a brain can see this is fake. Completely fake. Let's start with the fraud charges against Trump in New York, and we can talk about what's going on and why, we're headed for, we're in something truly dark. We're dealing with evil. Abject evil. I don't know how you win. I like to believe that good often does win, but maybe it doesn't. This woman, E. Jean Carroll, is writing a book. She made some claim about Trump, which she could not prove. Perhaps it's true, but so long as she can't prove it, then I say, unless it's proven in a court of law in a criminal context, I don't see it being true. Now, a jury trial in New York argued that Trump was liable for sexual abuse. With what evidence? There's a few people that said that after it happened, she confided to them. Hearsay? That's it? Is there any evidence? There's no surveillance footage. The story doesn't make sense at all. Trump was the most famous guy. Nobody recognized him. The floor was empty. The door that was supposed to be locked wasn't locked. None of it made sense. She doesn't know exactly when it happened because it happened a long time ago. She said it. They said, fine, sure, whatever. That's insane. But here we are. I was talking earlier about civil war in these communist states, and I don't know how I think the goal of all of this is to make sure that you leave. You leave places like New York. They are corrupt, authoritarian, Soviet-esque states. It's not an exaggeration. Bill de Blasio stole taxpayer money to paint Black Lives Matter in front of Trump's building. They're trying to make sure they can consolidate power. They are. It's working. I don't know how we go anywhere but civil war with things like this. We had Joy Reid get caught on hot mic saying starting another effing war. They know behind the scenes exactly what the elites are doing and how evil they are, but they're party to it. They like it. And Donald Trump may not be a saint, but innocent until proven guilty. Civil liability in a matter does not prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt. That's criminal court. Let's see you bring that up. Oh, they didn't. There's no evidence. It's kind of wild because if we even gave the benefit of the doubt to E. Jean Carroll, let's say a guy who looked like Trump did attack her and she could just say it was Trump. And this is where we are. You just make up a story and people just say, bang the gavel. Yes. How wild is it? The Trump fraud case I was mentioning a moment ago. They said Donald Trump committed fraud in his business dealings by inflating the size or the value of his buildings. The value of his buildings, I believe. Size was like how much of it was working and how much was non-rentable, et cetera, et cetera. And the judge ruled summary judgment. Trump did it. We don't need to see the evidence. Now, after that trial's been determined, default summary judgment, Trump loses. We're going to have a trial to determine how much Trump owes us. Now he can argue. And when the witnesses came in, financial institutions, they said not only did Trump do everything on the level, it was greatly profitable and everyone was happy. Too bad. I already banged the gavel in a different trial and said he did. You see how they set it up? Now this woman is going on TV and gloating about buying all these fancy things because they're evil. Smiles on their faces. Depraved evil. Okay. There was this tweet where a guy said, how could it be that the current front runner for the presidency has to pay an $83 million fine penalty for raping a woman? That's not what it's for. He didn't rape the woman. It's for defamation. Should have been thrown out based on the Times v. Sullivan standard. It's really amazing. Absolutely amazing. But the judge said, no, because it's substantially true, you've got to pay the money. I don't know why Donald Trump is even entertaining any of this stuff. I'll tell you the problem with Trump. He's an old school man. He's an old man. He's an old school man. He seems to think, I'll just play the game. Are you kidding? He keeps giving interviews to the corporate press who lie about everything he says. He just keeps doing it. If there's one reason why I would not vote for Trump, it's exactly that. But let's be honest. Trump's the best bet we have. Ain't nobody else. You can make all the arguments in the world about DeSantis. That guy could not lead himself out of a cardboard box. Sorry. He's saying some good stuff now that he's not running anymore. He's done some good jobs in Florida. But that dude could not run a campaign to save his own career. And this is where we're at right now. This stuff, man, this latest clip, it's going viral. Talk about despicable evil. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. on this channel over at YouTube. I'm sorry, not at this channel. 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.